Hi everyone, welcome back. On today's journal, I would like to talk about loneliness. Are we experiencing a loneliness because we are not in relationship or lack of social connection, or is there something else at work? I thought to share my take on this. One way or another way, some point in our life, we all felt lonely time to time. The feeling of loneliness are uncomfortable and intimate experience is very personal to us. A loneliness feelings will be a completely different experience for each of us. A loneliness mean it's not always same as being alone. We may choose to be alone and live happily without much social connection, while this may find unbearable experience for some other people. So what it is, a loneliness? We don't really understand what it is that experience make us feel lonely. One common description of a loneliness that feelings that we get when our social contact and relationship not met. But sometimes it can be that we may have lots of social connections or be in a relationship or we can be a part of family, but still we feel lonely, especially if we don't feel understood or cared for by the people around us. Ultimately, at core, we believe that we were designed for a relationship and feel that one of the greatest fear imaginable is the fear of being alone. Are we experiencing a loneliness simply by not being in a relationship or not having a social connection, or is there something else at work? Could it be that this feeling of loneliness is a byproduct of our ignorance, that we forgot our true nature and we took ourselves to be a collection of sensation and thoughts? When we take ourselves to be this limited body and mind, at core we fear that we will disappear and we look for object and relationship to complete or fulfill us. The moment we identify ourselves with something we are not, our problems start. The moment we think and feel that we are this limited body and mind, we are this bundle of emotions, thoughts, feeling and condition, and our fear starts. And then our fear says that we are temporary, we will disappear. Then we look for object and relationship to fulfill us. If we listen attentively to the word alone, is literally all one. Our true nature, what we are, one. When we forget that, we lose this oneness connection and build a wall around us then we feel lonely. Therefore, the remedy for this experience of loneliness is to discover our true nature rather than looking to cure the feelings of loneliness by reaching for an object or a substance or a relationship or achieve a state of mind by practicing mindfulness. The common way, especially in the spiritual communities, when we say, a loneliness and cure it, practice mindfulness. But rather than practicing mindfulness, that's something you're going to work with your mind to achieve a state. But with mind, you cannot achieve anything permanent state. Why don't we investigate and see who we are really? Then you find a permanent solution rather than addressing the symptom by practicing mindfulness. If we realize our true nature, that we are not finite and temporary, not only will it put an end to loneliness experience, it also begin to uproot all of our other mental health related feelings of fear, insecurity, stress, anxiety, and sense of lack. All these feelings also revolve around the same belief that I am this limited body and mind. Rather than finding the cure for the loneliness feeling, explore them by self-inquiry on whose behalf this feeling arising. Take a moment, observe your loneliness feeling. When your loneliness feelings appear next time within you, do the self-inquiry. Look, question it and see on whose behalf or who is really inside our head feeling that lonely. If you really observe and inquire, you will see that you will have a thought with a story attached to it. Then you have a feeling in the body. And if you question and see who is there behind the thought, there is no one there. Behind the story, imagine that separate self hiding itself. Again, it's not even a real self, it's an imaginary self. Then you left with that feeling in your body. Gradually, once you started to see that there is no one within us or within our head feeling that loneliness, is just that we lost our connection to our true nature. To be honest, not lost connection to our true nature, it's just that forgot ourselves. We live in this ignorance that we take ourselves to be this limited body and mind. Have you ever questioned what happened to your loneliness or the suffering or any sort of mental health issue you experience? What happened to that feelings when we go to deep sleep? Do you ever have a feeling that when you're in a deep sleep, you felt that you are feeling the loneliness? No, your deep sleep just contain with yourself that being. Is a whole started when the next day come, the day begins, and slowly you come from your deep sleep. Then your mind appear, then your body appear, then the associate connection, your thoughts, feeling, emotions, then your loneliness come, and your anxiety come, your insecurity come, your sense of lack come, everything comes. So that is your proof that Because if something is permanent, you are lonely, you're feeling within you, it means that you need to feel that on your deep sleep as well. But we don't have that experience in our deep sleep. That is another proof that this is something in the mind activities. There are people who practice the mindfulness, to overcome the loneliness. But practicing mindfulness can give you only temporary relief, because each time when you feel alone, then you have to go and practice the mindfulness. Why don't you realize your true nature, that you are that infinite awareness, everything appear in you, the awareness. The good metaphor will be movie and the screen. There is no movie without a screen. The so-called movie is a modulation of the screen. Same as that, you or we, the awareness, give the lights to all the activities. So if we learn to separate ourselves from the activity of the mind, started to become as aware of our mind activities, and realize that the awareness different from the mind activities, then you see that the loneliness feeling, or any other form of issues we face in our life, lack of self-confidence, anything, is a mind activities, is not us. If we can realize and be centered on this awareness, then you see that yes, there are time to time your loneliness can take you away from you. But as long as you understand that you are that awareness, this is all activity of the mind, then you know how to bring back yourself. That is how you can overcome a loneliness, not by practicing any other mind activities. Because anything I say, if that not in your experience, it's become as another story or reading a book. I'm not asking you to read a book. All I'm asking, question your experience and see for yourself.